just for theater of the mind, because we don't have the room on the table, this whole area is going to be woods, which you guys have yet to go through. Trees and woods in a horseshoe manner, and there's a small trail that trickles up this way and comes towards me. To the crotcher. I'm just kidding. So, anyway, so yes, all woods, high trees, all the way around, and this huge clearing, which we're going to discuss in a second. So, just picture, if you will, all different types of pine trees, and obviously it's going to be raining as you approach. So after traveling for several hours, rain obviously starts to fall. It is early morning hours. You guys all had both physically and emotionally tough time at the Abbey of St. Markovia. A lot of you are also hurt on spiritual sides as well. So traveling as the sun comes up, which you do not see in Barovia because it's conveniently blocked out, there is a glow in the sky of rain clouds. All of you are drenched in rain as you somberly walk quietly through the main road towards Veliki once again. And each of you are quiet. This is probably the quietest you've been because of all the things you've experienced at the Abbey of St. Markovia. After traveling for several hours, the road begins to turn into a muddy trail, and it meanders closer towards the town of Veliki. The road opens up to the side, to the left, and there is a sign that says, "To the vineyard." And it's a very small path that's overgrown. And there's also another sign to the right and one to the straight ahead where you're facing. The one straight ahead says, "Veliki and Castle Ravenloft." The sign to your right, there is a dirt road that opens up and it bends around the trees and it says, "Perez." But you stop. And especially you, Bron, you notice this sign is overgrown with vines and weeds, and it says, "The Vineyard."
Ha ha! Now we are talking.
Okay, you guys hear him say that, and it's the first joyful thing you've heard.
Do you recognize this place, mate?
This is family. You are in for a treat.
I could use one.
All right, so we're going to follow him down this path? Okay.
Go on.
The rain continues to fall, and you start noticing unpainted fences. They blindly follow a trail, a muddy trail through the trees. This trail begins skirting northward towards a sprawling vineyard as it opens up. You stand at the base of a tree line, and before you is a stately building. Fog takes over the main area where the vines are, and it slowly swirls through the vines like ghosts. Here and there, you see half buckets with ropes, and these are used to hold grapes. And it's quiet. You see scarecrows in the middle of the vineyards and the structure before you, as you see as it is. The house, a barn, a stable, and a very large cottage, 2 or 3 floors. You both overlook this area, and it's a big open area surrounded by all sorts of trees, pine trees, and other ferns. Bron, you've never been here, but you've heard about this through family. This is the Wizard of Winery, where they make most of the wine for Barovia. It's quiet, deathly quiet.
It's a little too. There you go. You're right on the same spot.
Let's make a perception roll going around the table. If somebody gives me 17 or higher, we're starting with Aslov.
9.
Nope.
11.
10.
Nope.
Nat 20.
19.
Oh, of course.
Oh,
5. No.
thank you,
All of
Bron.
you are watching and looking what's before you, the structure with the vines and the scarecrows. You, Bran, notice that there are dark shapes lying on the ground that look like bodies within the rows of these vineyard, the grape plants, whatever they're called. You also see in the corner of your eye to your left a shadowy figure walking out of the tree line. It stops, it's wearing a hood, water is dripping down from its face and the hood, and it has a cane and it's hunched over. It looks elderly. None of you notice this. And Bran, this person, this away about maybe 30 yards, looks at you and waves. Now the rest of you guys just don't see what's if you want to.
Yeah, I think I've just been going on about like purple grape mash and dragon whatever that they've got to try when we get there, and then I know that whoa, something's not right. Something's not right. Who? I'm gonna wave back at the person, like kind of dumbfounded looking.
Okay. And when you do it, and let's make a history check roll, please. 10 or higher.
1.
Okay, from a 1?
1.
Yeah, you can't really tell from where this person, who this person is, but the person's waving back at you. And the rest of you all pick up on this. And this person wearing a hood is hunched over, and you also see shadows and silhouettes of other humanoid shapes behind this person. But this person hunched over with a cane is the only one that stepped forward from the tree line.
How far am I from the figures in the vineyards?
This is going to be about 100 yards out.
Oh, that's really far.
Yeah.
And how far am I from the shadowy figures?
30 yards. To your left. Or to your right, this way.
So, that's going to be a lot closer. I'm going to, I think I'll tell my companions, look sharp, something's not right here. Just went Scottish. And I'm gonna go toward the shadowy figures.
You start taking a walk in the mud, sloshing. Are you guys going to stay back, or are you going to go with him?
Oh,
Yeah, stay together.
Follow him as well.
Yeah.
You actually sort of feel accepted for the first time with this group, as you hear the sloshing of feet behind you as well. You start making your way closer. You're greeted by an older man with a long white beard. He has a hood hunched over and a long crooked nose. He has weird colorful bracelets, and he's holding a cane with a wooden raven's head at it. As you get closer, Bron, you immediately recognize him as your great uncle, Davian Martakov, who runs the Wizard of Wines. The shadowy figures also look like family members, but they're staying back in the tree line. And you all see this old man. His eyes are looking at over all of you, and he has a scowl about him. The crinkles go up, and his dark eyes look over at you. Nephew! By the devil, what they've told me is true! You've broken the masquerade!
Uncle, what is going on here?
You explained it to me! You broke the masquerade and brought an omen to the winery!
What do you mean an omen?
Can't you see? Our brothers and sisters lie dead. All this began when the holy symbol of Ravenkind went missing from its place. A place you were supposed to guard. And when he says that, a familiar looking figure comes walking out behind him from the trees. Andrei Mardakov. He's the younger cousin of Bronze, but he's also the son of this older man. He's not wearing a hood. He has his black leather armor. Handsome man, pretty well built. He has his brown beads or necklace that he always wears, and he proudly walks out in the rain. His black hair is all hanging down and shining, and he looks at you and he says, "You see, father, I did not lie. He is a traitor to our kind." The old man stops. He says, "Quiet, son. I shall deal with this." The old man walks closer to you and looks up at you with his face. "Why do you bring these interlopers to the winery?"
Uncle, they are not interlopers. They are here to help us.
"Help us!" And he starts looking at over everyone. "Help us!" And he walks over to Cassidy. He looks you up and down. "Dress like this?"
You do not understand.
And he,
We're different.
and as you say that, he walks over to Tonic. "Armor that is going to rust in the rain? This is ridiculous. And look at this, a musician. What is she going to do for us at the winery?"
She's powerful.
His eyes glance over at Severa and then at Aslug, and he looks back at you. "How are they going to help us? There is an evil that took over our land. as an evil inside the vinery.
Well, I quite don't like evil. I think I could be of assistance.
Make a charisma roll.
It's spited.
12?
He glances over at you. Well, young lady, what can you do to help us? There is a darkness that fell upon the vinery. We have not been in there for weeks.
Well, myself and this paladin here, we're quite holy and radiant ourselves, and we can cast out the darkness.
Andrei Mardukov says,
Evil!
Father, don't listen to them. They are liars. They side themselves with a traitor to our family, Braun, who couldn't even watch the holy symbol. God knows in the heavens where it is gone. Anyone that sides themselves with a failure are failures themselves. Even you filthy looking thing, as he says to him.
Whoa.
What if we got the symbol back for you?
Andrei Mardukov, the younger person that stepped out in the rain. I'm not talking to you, woman. I'm speaking to my traitor cousin.
Andre, you should watch your words.
I watch my words well. You should watch your friends. How dare you insult us? And then the old man takes his cane and smashes it into the ground. The mud goes upward. Enough! If you're not going to help us, Bron, leave! And then when he says that, a little child comes running out wearing a hood from the woodline.
You know what you need to do?
Off with the head.
Kill me! Kill me! The child runs over to the old man with the cane and starts tugging at his shirt. The old man looks down. Vigo, get back into the tree line. It's not safe. And as the child's pulling his jacket, the shroud, the child says, But Papa! And he points to Tonic. Grandpapa, I dreamt him. He is the one for my dreams with the sword of light who walked in the shadow. I've dreamt him, Papa. Please, no, he is friendly. Get him to the woods now. Shoo! And Vigo stops and he looks at you and his eyes grow wide. And you guys all pick up on this like a child who just saw a superhero. The boy takes a few steps back and he says, But Papa! Back, boy! And the child goes back into the bush and you see there are other figures, humans with hoods. And they sort of take the child and they pull him back. The old man says, If you want to make amends for the horrible things you've done by bringing interlopers to our family and breaking the masquerade, go before us into the vinery and find out what evil waits that drove my entire family out. And then, only then you will prove yourself to me and not be the traitor my son says you are. And when he says that, Andrei Mardukov says, Father, no! We don't need to silence, boy! And Andrei actually stays quiet and puts his head down. But his dark eyes are shooting daggers right at you, Bron. And he looks and he scowls. And his eyes sort of drift over to Severa. And he looks at you as well. And he gives an angry look. And you guys pick up on this as well towards her. And he looks back at you. He can't protect you forever. Andrei walks back into the tree line with all these other people with the hoods. Davian Mardukov, the old man, walks around and he starts scowling and looking at all of you with his cane. And he walks over to you once again. Nephew, if you want to make things right, this is your opportunity. We will wait for you here. The old man starts moving backwards out of the rain. He does a quick glance back at you, Bron, and he disappears in the tree line with these other figures.
We will not fail you. We will prove that the sacrifice is worth it.
Okay, and you don't hear a response of the old tree line. So now there's some family drama going on with him and some relatives, and you're all standing there in the rain. In the distance, there's a very ominous-looking cottage, a winery, and there are bodies. Now you can see from where you're at, and scarecrows.
I don't know what the hell's going on, so don't ask me.
No, I just wanted to say, you've helped us immensely these last few days. You have my sword in getting things back to normal with your family.
And mine too, of course.
Mine 3.
Oh. You have my axe. And I'm going to bust out the violin. 13!
13!
Yeah. 13! I know, I need to find a
I
violin.
know my bow.
Joy?
Yeah, you have my music and this dagger that I keep on throwing at things. I got you.
And her skill in bar fights.
That's true. But you probably don't want that.
So, Ron and party, what is it you like to do?
Can you ask them, like, instead of draw them out, maybe give us
A little more information, yeah. I
Yeah,
expect that
maybe
you would
try
like
it.
tell
It
us
was
a
a
little bit about
ghost.
what's going on.
It was
No,
a
you
vampire.
just said
No,
evil took over the place.
Don't
This
play
old
that
man is
way.
obviously stubborn. He's very traditional. Right now, he's offended that you guys are aware that the were-ravens exist, and he's not about to give you any more information. Other than, you want to prove yourself?
Thinking back to Madame Eva's thing, it says, "Underdark of wood, sandstone, and glass, great evil lurks in the shadow of his house." So,
This,
I mean,
This is a
it's
test.
something.
we get no help from them.
So we're gonna charge the house?
Absolutely.
Check the scarecrows.
Yeah, we gotta cleanse us of the evil.
We
Are we-
should consider resting before we go running in there.
Yes.
Resting
Set up a camp.
You're going to take a short rest?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, short rest.
Is that what you're all agreeing upon?
Yeah, I need some hit dice.
Yeah.
Diddling around, I guess.
It's still raining and drizzling out. It's pretty dismal.
probably
You
not-
guys are getting cold, but right now it's about 10, 11 in the morning. Okay? I'm going to allow, for time's sake, that you had your short rest. So use your hit dice accordingly. If you need certain help, go up. If you got some medicines or elixirs or Florida Blue health cards, let's do those now.
Yeah.
This is a short rest as you guys sit.
Playing my music, you get an extra D6 if you spend hit die.
Yes.
It is what it is. And as you're doing a short rest, eating some rations, tending to your wounds, you can clearly hear a debate going on in the tree line where these people were at. More importantly, you hear Andrei Mardukov protesting. You see, Father, they are useless. They are doing nothing. They are sitting out there. Nothing, Father. See? Useless. And you hear this going on. So at this point, about an hour and a half passes, 90 minutes. It's time to poopy or get off the pot.
Yeah,
Which
we're
is
going
it?
in.
We're going in.
All right.
Balls deep.
Your poop?
Going in.
I have a quest here, so we gotta get in here.
Well, he has family drama. We need to help him take care of.
Got family drama. Baby mama
Shit's
drama.
about to get real, and hear me out. The winery itself is an old two-story building with multiple entrances, thick ivory covering every wall, and iron fencing along the roof. The trail from where you're at, you see, it leads to a loading dock on the ground floor. There's also a wooden stable, which has recently seen some construction, is attached to the east side of the winery. On the west side of the winery is a partially open veranda with 3 large tubs. There's also a crumbling well and a wooden outhouse to the right. Multiple scarecrows are seen throughout the vineyard, and through the rain and mist, you see dark shadows moving throughout the vineyard. And at that moment, one of the scarecrow's heads slowly turns like a mechanical puppet and faces your direction.
Who sees it?
We all
That's not normal.
That sounds
That's
very
not
scary.
normal.
And with that said, this is where we're going to stop. Okay? The next time we play, you guys are going to make your way down, or strategically make your way down to the Wizards of Winery to find out what shenanigans is going, and more importantly, well, 2 more importantly, is helping him and his family reconcile, and or helping her meet her fortune, which she received from Mata Eva at the Vistani camp.
Yeah.
So, good job, guys. Because of my vacation, I'm not be able to play for about 28 days. So we'll pick up at the beginning of August. I'll let you guys know. I'll post on our event page some dates. Obviously, if you have any communication, we relay it back. In August, I'm going to be a busy monk. I'm going to obviously continue with the Strahd campaign. I'm running a very big, epic pirate campaign as well. I have 2 other groups that reached out to me in regards to running Strahd as well, so I'll look into that. And I'm going to try to run one-shots every other week here at the store. I also, people, if anybody's watching, I'd like to reach out to any Dungeon Master, Game Masters out there. Partake in this. Enjoy the stream. Enjoy the store. You would help immensely by bringing strangers together so we can all become friends and play. With that said, This is Stan Smith saying good night and be safe and healthy.
Yay, good